And welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked at your pet parrot and thought, are you pulling my leg? You tell Polly you're out of crackers, and she gives you a look that just screams, I know you're hiding the good ones. Well, today we dive in headfirst into a question that's both hilarious and mind-bending. Can parrots actually lie? The answer is way more complicated and fascinating than you might think. Let's start with the legend himself, Alex, the African gray parrot. If you don't know Alex, he was basically the Einstein of the parrot world. Working with researcher Dr. Irene Pepperberg, Alex learned over 100 words, could identify objects, colors, shapes, and even understood the concept of zero. He wasn't just mimicking, he was communicating. So, could he lie? Dr. Pepperberg shares some amazing stories. Sometimes, when Alex was tired of the endless tests, he'd be asked, what color is this key? And even though he knew it was green, he'd say blue or red. He'd just keep giving the wrong answer. Was he just making mistakes? Dr. Pepperberg believes it was a form of protest, a way of saying, I'm done with this. In a way, it's a type of deception, right? He was intentionally misrepresenting his knowledge to get what he wanted, which was a break. Another time, Alex did something that truly blurred the lines. He was given a tray of nuts, which he loved, but he was supposed to be working on identifying colors. When Dr. Pepperberg turned her back, he sneakily tried to grab a nut. She caught him and said, Hey! Alex immediately looked at the tray and said, What color? As if he'd been focused on the task the whole time. He was trying to deflect her attention and cover up his little act of mischief. It's hard not to see that as a deliberate attempt to mislead. So, what does this all mean? To lie in the human sense, you need what's called a theory of mind. That's the ability to understand that others have their own thoughts, beliefs, and knowledge that are different from your own. Lying requires you to know what someone else believes to be true, and then intentionally say something different to manipulate that belief. It's a pretty complex cognitive skill. Do parrots have a true theory of mind? The scientific community is still debating that. It's incredibly difficult to prove. While Alex's actions look a lot like lying, some scientists would argue it's just highly sophisticated learned behavior. For example, maybe Alex learned that saying the wrong color sometimes got him a break, so he repeated the behavior.
Or maybe his, what color?
Comment was just a learned association to get attention back on the task, not a conscious attempt to deceive Dr. Pepperberg about his intentions. But let's be real. Many parrot owners have their own stories that are hard to dismiss as simple conditioning. I've heard from people whose parrots will mimic the sound of the phone ringing just to get them to come into the room. Or a parrot that, after chewing on a forbidden piece of furniture, will immediately start making cute, kissy noises to distract their owner from the crime scene. Take the case of a cockatoo named Snowball, who famously taught himself to dance to the Backstreet Boys. His owner noticed that if she left the room, Snowball would sometimes stop dancing and do something else. But the second he heard her coming back, he'd immediately start busting a move again, as if he'd been dancing the whole time. Was he trying to create a false impression?
It certainly looks that way.
This type of behavior is what we might call functional deception. The parrot isn't necessarily having a deep, philosophical debate in its head about the nature of truth. Instead, it's using its vocalizations and behaviors in a manipulative way to achieve a goal. Whether it's to get attention, avoid getting in trouble, or just to mess with you, the outcome is the same. They are creating a reality that isn't quite true. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. In the wild, deception can be a powerful survival tool. A bird might fake an injury, like the broken wing display, to lure a predator away from its nest. This is a form of deception that's hardwired into their instincts. They are creating a false narrative. I'm an easy meal to protect their young. So, the capacity for deceptive behavior is definitely present in the avian world. The real question is how much of this is instinct and how much is conscious, deliberate thought.
With highly intelligent and social birds like parrots who live in complex social structures and have to navigate relationships,
It's it's plausible that their deceptive abilities are more advanced than we give them credit for. They learn to associate certain sounds and actions with specific reactions from their flockmates, or, in a domestic setting, from their humans. Let's consider another angle. Mischief. Parrots are notoriously playful and, let's face it, a bit mischievous. Sometimes, what looks like a lie might just be a game to them. When a parrot mimics the dog barking to get the dog in trouble, is it a malicious lie? Or is the parrot just finding it hilarious to cause a little chaos? Given their intelligence, it is not a stretch to think they can understand cause and effect in a way that allows them to play pranks. They might not be thinking, I will construct a false narrative, but more like, if I do this funny thing happens. So, back to our original question. Can parrots lie? If we define lying strictly as a human act, requiring a full theory of mind, then the jury is still out, and we may never have a definitive answer. It's almost impossible to know for sure what's going on inside their little bird brains. But if we broaden the definition to include intentional deception for personal gain, to mislead, or to manipulate a situation, then absolutely. The evidence is overwhelming that parrots are master manipulators. They can and do use their incredible vocal abilities and intelligence to create false impressions to get what they want. Whether it's Alex the African Grey trying to get out of his homework, your Amazon trying to trick you into giving him an extra treat, or a cockatoo trying to cover his tracks. These birds are constantly testing boundaries and learning how to work the system. So, the next time your parrot says hello to an empty room or mimics the doorbell when no one is there, don't just dismiss it. Take a moment and ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve? You clever little feathered fibber? You might be surprised at what you discover. They are not just mimicking. They're interacting, strategizing, and yes, probably telling a few white lies along the way. And honestly, that just makes them even more amazing. What do you think? Have you ever caught your parrot in a lie? Share your hilarious stories in the comments below. I would absolutely love to read them. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the minds of our feathered friends, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. We'll see you in the next video.